Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Jenos, and I'm here again evaluating and making my students cry, this time with Mappit. So, Mappit is an application thought in order to manage how people and friends they handle and put together a trip. Okay, so it's basically a trip management application in which through map and other stuff it will help you put and centralize all the information. So far I already see an issue, and that is that the color or the visual cues are not 100% right, aside of yeah aside of the labels disappearing. So one thing that I don't recommend people do is that if you use input fields, it should always come with a label something to make you remember what are you typing. Because right now I can put this, right? And you will not know exactly what it's here, if it's the name, if it's the email, etc., etc. So normally you will put a small indicator here or label, icon, whatever, indicating that this is the name. For the password, something to show the password because otherwise you sometimes may forget about that. From the other side, in terms of color usage, this one is wrong. So normally, if you create an application, the terms of colors of login sign up, you have a primary color and a secondary color to highlight that these are two different actions. Because right now, the shading that sign up has, it looks like it's something that you cannot click, which in fact you can, but you shouldn't be able to click it. Why? Because that's not how universally other applications does that. Just to give an example, if we go into Twitter, the first thing that you can notice is that the label is always there, right? You have the placeholder, and whatever you type, you always know that this is the name. The other thing you can notice is here. You right now cannot type. This is the universal language to tell someone that right now you cannot click the button. It's basically to make it less saturated. But the moment you feel it, you can actually click it. Okay? So that should be kind of the same, but here, right? But in this case, sign up should be entirely another color because there are two different actions. Here, another error I found is that you can put whatever you want. So you can put A, and sign up. Well, a.gmail.com and sign up. So I just created an account called a.gmail.com with password A, which shouldn't allow it, right? And gmail.com A. Another good practice is that you should have something called forgot password. So in case the user doesn't, well, forgets the password, can recover the password, right? But aside of these errors in terms of visuals, so far, I would say this is the best visual I got compared to other applications of the project that students are making. So props to that. And let's log in. Here, this I will kind of give a license to them in the sense of they're basically put these buttons just to facilitate the not correction, but the things they said they wanted to do, even though if this was a real delivery, it will make no sense at all. You should never expose anything technical unless necessary to the business people, because they will see this and they will not understand anything. But either way, let's give them a free pass for this. So the first one is categorize places. Um, Basically, the idea is that here probably they will have a map or something, attach that to the API of Google, so you can select a place and then put a name, right? Just like Google saving things, like use restaurant A, and you just put food. and then you save it. Oh, wait, no, then it's basically, yeah, and then, yeah, so that is not implemented yet, but basically you can create your own pins, okay, of things that you want to save. So then you can see where did you put that pin. So in this case, it's food. Here, another thing that I'm seeing wrong is that you should be able to have or see where you are. So in this case, you don't know where you are. You're just in a menu, but you don't know what's this menu about, right? Think about Instagram. At the bottom, you can see a house. Then that means that you are in the main menu, for example, right? Here, you don't know anything, not even a small text at the top saying um, list or categorize places or places saved, right? There's no information about that. The other thing is that there's no back button. So the other only way to go back is this way, which I don't recommend it, especially because maybe not everyone will use it. And it's always better to have something far easier to see, like a button or something at the bottom, so you can move between things much easier and a more natural flow. The other features they have for this trip management system is to add notes. You can put title and content, which again, it has the same error as login, which is basically not showing any label. So now I don't know what information I'm putting or typing here. So that's a bad thing. This is a big problem, especially when the things you are inputting are more than 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And the other thing I see is that you cannot remove a note, which should not happen. It's saving correctly, but you should be able to remove a note, right? You should be able to create something and delete something. The other thing is that the title of the window is not clear. It says view edit note. I would just say edit note or just note, because view it's kind of implicit and edit, okay, you maybe can put edit note, but view or edit note is just confusing. Okay, so again, I will also put here at the top like notes or saved notes, so you can more easier know where you are and what you're doing in that section. Then you have my trips, which this is correct, right? So you can see now, this is what I was talking about. My trips, you now know what's happening here, what's this about. The problematic thing I see here is that the buttons are at the top. First of all, that is not reachable, so you have to put the hands at the top, which, okay, it's not that recommended, but sometimes the buttons can be at the top. But then all the other buttons should also be at the top, because so far all the other actions happens at the bottom, but then somehow this one happens at the top. So this, I will move it downstairs, so it's more logical and coherent with what you have seen so far. Then here you will see the problem I was talking. So you can see that now we have 4 fields. The moment I put this, you have no clue what you are typing at all. So yeah, that is something to fix, either by adding an icon or a small label at the start. Mm, Here the other thing that is incorrect is that they should here use an integrated date picker, so it's much easier to select the date instead of typing. Typing, it will always give problems. And the other problem is the secret code. It's not recommended to set up the secret code of a trip. If it's a password, it's one thing, but here the secret code is basically a code you use in order to join that trip, and that can be a problem. Why? Because if I now put 1111, okay, or 1234, and I create a trip, if someone else tries to join, you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, 6, I will be able to join, but everyone else will be able to join to the same trip. So it's 10 people created a trip that has the code 1, 2, 3, 4. What's going to probably happen is that everyone that attempts, or all her friends that attempts to join the trip, they're going to end up in the first one or the last one, for example, or a random one. So you don't have control at all. So that is not recommended, and it will not work in practice. For this, let's think about Clash of Clans or whatever application that is using right now these codes of invitation. So the strategy is the following. The base information, the base trip, it has a unique identifier. It is a very long list of numbers and text and characters, so it's unique. And then you will create temporal codes, for example, or a set of reusable codes. There's a lot of strategies, okay? But the point is that the core product item should have a unique code, and then you can generate whatever temporal code you need. For example, you could generate a temporal code that has an expiration date of 10 days that uses numbers or letters and is automatically generated, not set up by the user. So this way, you kind of avoid joining random people's trips or other people's trips. Okay, so that will be my recommendation for this one. Yeah, okay, this is not yet implemented. When you remove a trip, a suggestion here is that it should appear something like, are you sure you want to remove this trip? Because otherwise you will do misclick and then you will lose everything, and that is not recommended at all, because it will generate a lot of frustration to the final user. And finally, again, now the button is at the top, but this time they also did well this, which is saying what we're doing. So test. So it's a list of things, right? And you can remove it and um, select and deselect the items. Okay, and that's it. So here again, the remove part is important to show something like, I usually want to remove it. Okay, so that was the walkthrough so far. I'm checking here at my left some notes that I wrote to them. So one thing is, of course, the back button menu probably. But the main thing is that right now I can't see there's some connection between them, and of course there is a connection between them, but it's not that clear. And when you create products and you release products, especially for a minimal viable product, it should make sense. So the people should be able to already use your product, even if it's part of it. In this case, it's not that clear. And my suggestion is that for the next time you start a product, you should start with the very essential, which for me in this application of trip management, I will start probably with a API of Google, and then from there you will start to add things like, given a place you are pinning in the Google Maps API, you can then show this. You can then show the things you have saved, like these special categorized places that you have saved, notes to this specific pointed place, or maybe it's a general note. Same goes to lists, and same goes to trip management, right? It's much better if you, for example, had in this case something more visual, something more clear of what's happening, where you are, what's the flow, etc. So yeah, that's the analysis overall for this one.